Hello, hello. Welcome to my space. I hope you are doing well. So, as you can see, the cards are open. The reason is because I did this reading yesterday and there was an issue with it, but it was such an important and a strong reading that I want to do it again. So, I just opened the cards again how they were yesterday. So the cards that came out, the reason first of all why I want to do it again, it is because it is talking about the feminine and the masculine energy, and I kind of feel that it is such an important discussion to have, especially right now. So I want to do it again, in fact, right? So the cards that came out, first of all, it is milk and honey. This is talking about the sweet life. Then we have the yang energy in the second position, talking about relationships, partnerships. Wait, I will put the mic a little bit close to me. Talking about the masculine energy, the yang energy. It is in the place of relationship, partnership, all those kind of things. Then we have in the third place, which is the driving energy, the card that came out, it is between worlds, which is exactly where we are regarding the masculine and the feminine energy. Then in the fourth place, we have in the foundation, the higher power. In the fifth place, the fates. In the sixth place, time to go. The sixth place, it is what must be done. With the time to go, I kind of feel that we are talking about ideas, maybe, that we have to let go of, right? Then in the seventh place, we have TikTok. The time is now. In the eighth place, we have truth be told. And in the last place, the outcome and the integration, we have co-create. Co-create. It is such an important message here. So, let's talk for a moment about femininity, masculinity, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. First of all, it's very important for me to say that when I'm talking about the divine masculine, the divine feminine, I am not talking about the gender, right? I'm thinking about the Lover's card. As said already before, the Lover's card doesn't talk especially about love. It is talking about making choices that are coming from the balanced self. What is the balanced self, the masculine and the feminine inside of us? What we are talking here about, it is in the second position, we have the masculine energy. So I kind of feel that we might start here and talk about a difficult place right now for the masculines. And when I'm talking about the masculines, yes, I might be talking here about the gender. Why? Because the roles of the feminine has totally changed, right? We know that we were in a world at least, that was built by men for men. I will in this reading say a lot of things that might be controversial. You might accept the ideas, refuse the ideas. Maybe it might just bring you a aha moment or food for thought, right? I hope that we will respect each other in the way that we are seeing things, right? I'm here and I think that you come here in order to get my perception about things. We are talking here about a very heavy subject, right? But from my understanding, right? So the world was created by men for men. I'm not talking about the higher realm. I'm talking about what is going on down here. We know that in the Second World War, there was a shift in the energies between masculine and feminine. Why? Because a lot of men went to war and then women were in charge of everything, right? This created a shift in the feminine energy. And then we saw changes happening, like women before were not invited, they couldn't vote. There was a change that came in the late 60s, I think, before also women couldn't open a bank account, for example. They needed to have a man, which is either a husband or a father, and that changed, right? So there was kind of a liberation of women. I kind of feel that the outcome of this, it is that as I already talked about in relationships, for example, and when I'm talking relationships, I'm talking friendships, connections, all of it, right? When there is a change in one of the persons that are in this connection, for example, somebody is healing, then there is a shift in the energy, and so something needs to happen, right? So there is this period in between. We have here in the third place, it is also a card number 3. So when I have a card that the number and the place are aligned, for me, those are especially important cards. We have here in the third place between worlds. In the fourth place, we have a card number 4, the high power. So those are cards that I'm taking truly in consideration that they are especially important here. So we are between worlds, right? So this is why I kind of feel that there is such an issue between masculines, feminines, right? Feminines are regaining some kind of independence, power, all those kind of things, which I think is a good thing, obviously. But we have the masculines, the men, that have a hard time finding their own place, especially I think in relationships. This is what I kind of feel that I want to talk about here. And I hope that it will be inspiring here. So, first of all, we have the card Milk and Honey, talking about the sweet life. It is a number 51, which is a 6. The 6 in the tarot, as said, it is talking about the lovers. It is also the devil's card, right? The devil's card is a 15, which is also a 6, which is interesting. We have the lovers and we have the devil. Same kind of it's the same number. It says something, right? One is the lovers acting from your higher self in balance with your masculine and feminine energy, and in the devil we have kind of the opposite. There is a bondage. We are talking about control, we are talking about obsession, we are talking about a total imbalance of those energies, right? So I kind of feel that there was some kind of balance before, when the rules were the rules, and it was men had such a role and the women had such a role. Were they happy? I don't know. I wasn't there, right? But anyway, there is a shift there. I kind of feel, that at the end of the day, I know that I grew up, I was born in the 70s, in the early 70s. What I heard a lot about women, it is, at the end, we are the one who are controlling, we are in charge, but we need to let men think that they are in charge. I was always shocked about that, because I was like, what is this bullshit, right? What is this power game? What is this lack of authenticity? Like, why does someone needs to be in charge and pretend not to be in charge and be manipulative? I never understood this, but I kind of feel, if you are a woman and you were born maybe in the 60s or 70s, let me know if you already heard this, because I heard it from multiple places, right? Not just, let's say, from my family. No, I heard it from many, many places. Women that, in fact, were the strong element in the relationship, but they needed to caress the ego of the man, to make the man believe that they were the ones in charge, right? I kind of feel here that there is something going against intimacy, against true partnership. This is my vision of it, right? I believe in a perfect partnership. I believe in the strength of the masculine and the feminine energy. And I believe that we are much stronger when we are not pretending, when we are working together and taking the strength of both sides. When I'm talking about the masculine and the feminine, yes, I am talking about the gender, for example, but I'm also talking about the masculine and the feminine inside of ourselves. Because at the end of the day, men were educated, guided to dim what we might call the feminine energy, the sensitive energy, right? So men were hearing things like, "Don't cry. Are you a woman? Are you this?" Like if everything that was related to feelings and emotions for the masculines was a proof of weakness, in fact, right? And women who were very independent and that were embracing their masculine energy were also very much judged in some kind of way. It's not that the feminine intelligence was not seen. I think that it was seen, it was also appreciated, but a woman that was truly embracing totally her masculine energy, and we can see truly in, for example, schmexuality, a woman was very much judged, while the rules were not the same, right? And I kind of feel that many men also might have had a hard time with the fact that they couldn't embrace their what we call the feminine energy. When we are talking about feminine energy and masculine energy, just to be clear, it is not truly masculine and feminine. It is just words that are put in order to describe something. So when we are talking about the masculine energy, we are talking about the active energy. The feminine energy is described as more passive. The masculine energy is extrovert. The feminine energy is introvert. All those kind of things, right? But I'm just using the words to make it easier, especially that we have here the yang energy. So yeah, we could talk about the yin yang, but I kind of feel that not everybody understands that the yin is the feminine, the yang is the masculine, all of this, right? So we have here also in the second place, as said, the yang energy here, we have the number one. The number one, it is a new beginning. So we are talking a lot about feminism and women and femininity and all those kind of things, but at the end of the day, it is a new beginning also for men. For men to be able to truly embrace all of their colors, all of their energies, right? So I think that it's very important. As said, we are in between worlds. What does it mean that there is a change? When there is a change, right, there are no rules anymore, and now we are able to create our rules. We are not anymore in a world where it is black and white, right? There is different colors now, and we can define now the relationships that we want. We don't need to go through the model. So there is something comfortable with the model, right? We know that there is something very comfortable in not being in charge, because when you are following a model, you have like the instructions and you just apply the instructions. There is less freedom. There is less ability to be totally yourself. You are just following a model. It kind of pushes you sometimes to have to pretend more than to be in your individuality, because you are following something. I talk to you, for example, about groups. Some people like to be in a group because they feel some kind of safety and some kind of stability. But on the other side, when you are part of a group, you need to respect the hierarchy of the group. You have to respect the rules of the group. Your free thinking is not welcome in the group, right? If you are a free thinker, then you become the scapegoat because you are threatening the system. So here the system, since the place of the woman in the society and the community has changed, it creates a movement in the structure, right? We have the higher power here in the first place. This is the foundation, this is the stability. I take it as the stability relies in the balance between the masculine and the feminine, outside of us and inside of us, right? Then we have the fates. It is in the fifth position. This is the path shift, the test, the change. What is happening now, I kind of feel that it is a little bit fated. We know that in history we have already had worlds that were where women were in charge. We had all kind of things, right? In history, now we are in something else, but we are, as said, in between the worlds. So, time to go. It is a 9. It's a 45, but a 45, it is a 9, so it's end of a cycle. It is in the sixth place, so what must be done? What must be done? It is letting go of all kind of ideas. Then we have the TikTok. I kind of feel that this is talking here about divine timing. It is in the healing place. So there might be some kind of imbalance, people who are ready for the change, people who are not ready for the change, people that are comfortable with this new freedom and insecurity. There is insecurity in freedom, obviously, and some that are not, that truly want to, who are truly attaching themselves to the old world. I will say the old world, right? Then in the eighth position we have truth be told. So I kind of feel that the invitation here, the manifestation here, right? It is to talk. Now is the time to talk, truly. This is why also I kind of felt that I truly wanted to remake this reading. It was important for me. I'm looking at my mic. I hope that there is no issue. I hope that there is no issue. And so the last card here, it is the co-creates. I think that there might be an issue. Shit. Okay, so apparently there was no issue, so I will just continue. The last card that we have, the outcome, the integration, we have co-create. And I kind of feel that this truly is the main message here. It is about co-creating with ourselves, right? Embracing the masculine and the feminine, and also with others, like the genders, create together. It is also a card number 40, which is a 4. So we are in this stability. The stability is in the co-creation, taking the strength of both parts, right? And so I also related to the other card that is, first of all, in the fourth position and is also a number 4, a higher power, the highest power relies in the co-creation, right? So we will get a little bit deeper in all of that. Just one idea that I want to share with you, because I think that it's an important one. Very often when we are talking, we are going to the Bible and all those kind of things, and we are talking about the masculine and the feminine energy. What we are talking about, it is Adam and Eve, right? Adam representing the masculine energy and Eve representing the feminine energy. In reality, if you go back to the text, Eve is not a feminine energy, right? How has Eve been created? She has been created by the rib of Adam. So her DNA is masculine, in fact, right? I kind of feel that it is important to talk about that because the women that we are coming from, right? That we are coming from, that we are now making the changes, but the woman that we are coming from, it is the woman that has been created by the man and for the man. When the highest created Adam, the masculine energy, at the same time, he created a feminine energy, which was not Eve, right? It's a very interesting story. If you are interested in all those things, I invite you to read it because it kind of shows something very, very interesting that I won't get into it right now. But there was a pure feminine energy that was created at the same time as Adam. It was there, right? But for some kind of conflict, right? Ego issue, problem of control, Adam didn't end up with this feminine energy, and so Adam asked for God to create a feminine energy that would be for him. I want to talk about that, as said, because I kind of feel that this reflects somehow the world that we are coming from, but we have like deep traces of that, and we can even see it. I already talked about this too. The feminines have also totally embraced this service to the masculines, and we can see it in women's sensuality, because the women's sensuality is very often not a product from herself. It is, in fact, the image. Is the image the right word? The energy that will attract men, right? It is the feminine that the man desires, right? So anyway, another idea that I wanted to share with you, that even in our sensuality and our femininity, there are some codes that we have embraced as feminine that are in fact not truly femininity. It is the femininity for the masculine, right? Okay, so I want to get a little bit deeper here, but mainly the message is that the real sweetness, the real sweet world is in the co-creation, and it is in all of us as individuals to embrace our masculines and our feminines. And we see that a lot, we know that a lot of marriage end up in divorce. There are a few reasons. One of them is that the people are getting married out of love today, right? This is the idea, while in fact the marriage was never about love. This is not why the marriage was created. This is one idea, but we will put it on the side right now. But there is also this element of the roles now that are an issue, right? Because couples can accept the roles that they have inherited from the past in the beginning of their marriage, but very often at a certain moment they don't feel whole, and they don't feel whole because those roles don't allow them to accept the whole self, right? So I kind of feel that today we have the choice of being in a relationship or not being in a relationship, and the relationships that truly work are the ones where there is a real partnership, It is not you are a masculine, so you are doing that, I am a feminine, so I'm doing that. No, it is you as a human being, you are good with that, you want to do that, you enjoy that, so you are doing that. And me as an individual, I am good at that, I enjoy doing that. You understand what I mean? It's more about individuality and the respect of the individuality that creates truly great partnerships. And sometimes the two partners truly want to embrace the old roles and they are comfortable with that. And then it can also work very, very well, right? But it has to truly be coming from a place of whole. It cannot be from a place of just continuing with a cycle that is not adapted anymore, that at the end of the day was related to another world, right? And pretending today, in those times, women truly thought that they were unable to manage the economical world, right? This is what they thought. And this was the big awakening that happened when men went to war and women had to work. They realized, wait, I am totally able to work too. This thing that I thought that I didn't understand and it was not for me, in fact, it is totally for me. And as I already said, once we know something, once we realize something, once we saw something, it's impossible to unsee it. It is not possible, right? So, this being said, let's get into a reading. Let's get a little bit more information about all of this. Let's see what I am supposed to talk to you about and what I'm not supposed to talk to you about. This is a kind of difficult subject, but I think that it is such an important one because I truly feel that there is a kind of crisis nowadays between masculines and feminines, and I kind of feel that this is the answer at the end of the day, right? So, let's see. So, let's get into the milk and honey. Tell me more here about the milk and honey. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, we have the Eight of Pentacles that came out like this, right? This is mastering some kind of subject, and this is not mastering at all. This, for me, the way that it came out, it's reflects on between worlds, right? We are between worlds right now. So now we are the ones to define what we want, right? So I will put it this way. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, talking about values, real values, the values of each one, right? I said it's not anymore about you are a man, you are a woman, or you are the masculine in the relationship and you are the feminine in the relationship. It is truly about embracing the values of each one of the individuals that create the partnership, right? It is about care. When we are with the Queen of Pentacles, we are talking about values, true values, right? And about care. So it is giving care to our individuality and our true values. Sometimes, I'm just going to talk about a couple of masculine and feminine, right? It doesn't mean that I'm rejecting the couples that are gay, lesbian, all those kind of things. I'm just talking about it this way because it's easier, right? To talk about it this way. So, sometimes, for example, a woman can be better with numbers than a man, right? So why wouldn't she be in charge of the numbers? Sometimes the man is the cook of the house. He enjoys to cook. So why, you understand what I mean? Sometimes a woman is not very motherly, right? So why force it on her if it's at the end of the day the man that is much more a mother to the children? Sometimes the man has much more patience, the woman has not, So if we get out of this mindset of because you are a man, you are doing this, and because you are a woman, you are doing that, then we can truly embrace our real values, right? Let me see if you can see all the cards. Yes, you kind of can. Okay. Let's see, the yang energy. Tell me here about the yang energy, please. Wow, wow, wow. Listen, in this deck, there are 2 cards of the Fool, right? It's the first time that it happened to me. The Fool and the Fool. Both cards came out together, right? We are talking here about the masculine energy. So the Fool is talking about a new beginning. So considering how it comes out here, it truly represents a kind of the 2 kinds of masculines that we can have. Those who are open to live in faith of themselves and their partner, and go towards this new beginning. The Fool here, which is a dog, it's very sweet. They are jumping in something that they don't know. It is jumping into the unknown. This is the between the worlds. We are in the unknown, but it is in this unknown that might be scary, but at the end of the day, that might also lead to something that is absolutely amazing, right? Okay, and so we have the Fool 2-0 in reverse, right? This is acting like a fool in reckless ways, without thinking, without faith. So yeah, I kind of feel that we have both sides here, and I kind of feel that we can truly feel it. We can truly feel it. I kind of feel also that very often we hear, yeah, women are like this or men are like this. And it might also come because you might be one of them, the Fool in the upright or the Fool in reverse, and meeting a woman that is also there, because we also have women. Some women totally embrace their individuality. They want to totally embrace their masculine and their feminine energy, and some women don't, right? So there is also this complexity, because before the roles were given, it was a given. You want it, you don't want it, this is what there is. Now there is something different, so there is another dimension, right? There is another dimension here. It's all about, at the end of the day, being honest also, because the Fool in reverse, they are not truly honest. So it is about being honest, about who you are and what you want. Being honest also with yourself. Are you able to get out of the roles? Right? And how much? And are you reasonable in those roles? Right? It is all about being a real partner, right? And it's not about putting the responsibility on the other. I have this image that comes to my mind that I feel the need to share with you. I don't know why, but I feel the need to share it with you, so I will share it with you. I have seen couples where it is the old way, right? The traditional way. The woman is at home taking care of the kids. Sometimes she's working, but she's working a little bit less maybe. And then there's the man that is the breadwinner, right? So they are not a lot at home at all, because very often nowadays either both are working, or if it's just one that is working, one is most of the time not at home very often. But then what I wanted to talk to you about it is that I saw a lot of couples that in fact it is the woman that is the breadwinner. It's not that it was decided in advance, it is just what it is. very often the woman is a career woman, and somehow the masculine there, they they are in total imbalance, because what I saw, not always, I have one example that is different, but it is different also because they decided from the beginning that the woman will be the breadwinner and the masculine will be with the children, right? It was a decision, and then it worked very, very well. But in those other cases where the woman is truly the breadwinner, very often the man is not working, very often they are in depression, and they are not even helping at home. They are not doing anything, right? There is truly like un laisser-aller total. How do we say that? A total letting go of anything, right? So the woman is now not only the breadwinner, she is also in charge of the house. Because somehow, this kind of man, very often, what my interpretation is, it is that at the end of the day, for them, either they need to be the breadwinner or they don't know how to find their place there, so they are depressed and they won't embrace their feminine energy, right? They won't. It's either I'm working and I'm the breadwinner, or I'm not doing anything and I'm still the man and you will still serve me, right? And I saw it more than once, right? Where the woman was truly embracing her masculine side, let's say, and she was the business oriented and all those kind of things. And very often those women, they are also mothers, totally, right? But then the men there, they are like a shadow of a human being. Like that you are truly looking from outside, no judgment, but I was looking from the outside and I was thinking to myself like, woman, why do you need a partner here? Because you don't have a partner. You have nothing. Yeah, you have a burden at the end of the day, because this woman is also supposed to serve the man, right? Because the woman, yes, she has embraced her masculine energy, but at the end of the day, being with a masculine that is not, maybe the feminine has also embraced her masculine energy, because her masculine is not totally in his masculine energy, or there is a depression in the masculine energy. Might be too, I don't know, but at the end of the day, the feminine is doing everything. She is the breadwinner and she is taking care of the house. She is doing the cooking. She's taking care of the children. She's doing everything, right? So I kind of feel here, right, that yeah. Let's continue. Between worlds. What do you want me to talk about with this between worlds? The Hierophant in reverse and the Eight of Cups. Very, very interesting, right? Because now there is this element, right, that this fake authority. We know that the Hierophant, it is someone of authority. When it is in reverse, we are talking about a fake authority. Authority that shouldn't be given to this person, right? I kind of feel here that what we are talking about, we have this Eight of Cups taking distance also. There is here something about, there is not one of the genders that is in authority. It is a common authority. And at the end of the day, I also think that there is something very positive, because when it is like in the old world, the masculine that is the figure of authority, needing to take all the decisions, all those things, it is very heavy on their shit. Yeah, it's heavy on them, right? I don't know why the elbows is coming to me, but I'm not talking about the elbows, I'm talking about the doesn't matter, right? It is very heavy, right? There is some kind of heaviness there. A mental heaviness, and the woman has all the heaviness of the home, which in fact it is very practical and it is much more. But with the masculine, there is this some kind of authority that shouldn't be there because it's you know it's yeah, there is some kind of an alignment there, right? Because the responsibility was given to the responsibility and the authority was given to one on the other. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, right? So we are in between the worlds where at the end of the day it is not about giving authority to somebody else, it is being our own authority, right? Okay. Let's see, the higher power. Is there anything more about between worlds? Let's see. Is there anything more here about between worlds? Yeah. The Ace of Cups, embracing our own emotional self, whoever we are, masculine or feminine, right? Let me remind you also that in ancient times, so men couldn't have emotions, because if they had emotions, it meant that they were weak. And feminines, at the end of the day, they also couldn't have emotions, because then they were called hysterical, right? Because the woman was dealing with a man that was rejecting their own emotions, which means that they were avoidant. So the women, the only place that they would have to discuss about their emotions was not in the relationship itself, it was with her girlfriends, right? But at the end, even the woman couldn't embrace her own emotions, because when she was getting angry, which is kind of normal when you need to discuss of serious emotional subjects, because the relationship, the partnership is not just about practicality, right? It's not just about that. Especially nowadays, we want to be in a relationship out of love. But if the man thinks that his emotions are weakness, right? So the woman is facing a wall, and so she gets angry, and in the old times, she was considered as mentally unstable. The woman's anger is considered as mentally unstable, but maybe that the woman wouldn't be so angry if there was some kind of recipient on the other side, but there was no recipient on the other side, because a man, if they would have been the recipient, then they would have to be emotional, and then they wouldn't be a man, right? So it is about letting go those images, those roles of authority. It is about also, with the Hierophant here, we are talking about tradition. So we are here talking about a whole generation that is breaking the cycles. Breaking the cycles. We are the cycle breakers, right? We are not going with what was the traditional way that we inherited from the past. Now we want to create something different, right? Also, let's just see that at the economical level, in the past, it was totally possible for one person to work and they could live out of it. Today, in most cases, it's not the case. You need to have two salaries coming in order to be able to have a family. With one salary, today it's kind of rare that you have the ability to truly support a family. So if those elements are changing, so the whole dynamic is changing anyways, right? So, okay. The higher power. Let's get into the higher power. The word that comes to me here, it is respect. This is what is coming to my mind, and I'm not just talking about respect one towards another, but also there is an element of self-respect, right? If you think that because you are a man, you are not supposed to do this, that, and that, you don't respect yourself at the end of the day, right? And all those roles, didn't respect the individual. Higher power, please. So we have the Three of Wands in reverse and the Three of Swords in the upright. Two trees, first of all. Let's observe that we have two trees, one in reverse, one in the upright. The Three of Wands in reverse, right? This is kind of signifying to me that there is no plan, right? We have to create our own plan. We have to decide of the direction that we want to go towards, right? The Three of Wands is in reverse. This is kind of the annihilation of the roles, right? And then we have the Three of Swords. I will take it here. We are with the swords, which is communication, way of thinking, all those kind of things, right? With the Three of Swords, we know that we have a heart. It might be talking about having a heartbreak. I kind of feel that the old way of living, which was truly based on theory, a man is like this, a woman is like this, right? And roles, your role is this and your role is that at the end of the day, it created heartbreak for the masculines and for the feminines, right? Nobody was truly fulfilled. It might have looked like something working on the outside, but on the inside, I'm not sure that it truly was, right? We know that in the old couples, there was a lot of cheating, there was a lot of women needing to hide things from men, all those kind of things, right? And we see that the moment that the divorce was accepted, divorce there was. Today, I think that at least half of the couples are getting divorced, while our day we truly don't have to get married. We don't have to get married, right? Okay. So I kind of feel here that the higher power, it is truly about accepting the fact that we have to create our own plan. It is not served to us, right? We have to create it. Okay. The Fates. The Queen of Cups in reverse. And the Four of Wands. Yeah, because at the end of the day, right, what we had were people that kind of might have felt very unstable emotionally, masculines and feminines. Masculine because the need to avoid their own feelings and reject their own feelings. And also at the same time, the feminines because not having the emotional partner that they need, right? So there was a lot of imbalance here, a lot of emotional rejection, emotional imbalance, right? And so the fate now, it's very interesting because this is also, even though this card is not talking about wedding in any kind of way, in the Four of Wands, what we see, in fact, it is a chuppah, which is in fact the thing that Jewish people, when they are getting married under a drape and four sticks, right? So this somehow represents in some kind of way also the marriage, the union, all those kind of things. The card, in fact, the Four of Wands is talking about celebration and about stability, right? Yeah. Okay. I want to have a little bit more information here about, because this kind of reflects what we could see from the outside, right? Yes, you will be emotionally frustrated, maybe, unbalanced, maybe, right? But there will be some kind of stability there, right? Tell me here about the Four of Wands. Why did the Four of Wands come out? Yeah. So it was more about avoidance, right? It was about avoidance. It was not about being, it was like you don't even think about it. This is your life. You know, there is some kind of something comfortable until it's not, right? Yeah, you are just following what you are expected to do, the Six of Wands. What the community is expecting you to do, right? If you are married, then you are a winner. If you are not married, then you are a loser. If you understand all those kind of roles, which at the end of the day, I can tell you that they are still there, right? When you are an unmarried, and I kind of feel man or woman, but maybe for women it's even worse, you are judged as problematic, as rejected by society, rejected by a married woman very often, right? Give me something more here, please, about the fates. The Wheel of Fortune. And the Seven of Swords. Yeah, it was about getting away. It was about getting away. There was a lot of hiding, right? Why the Wheel of Fortune? Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune, we are in the fates. There is something missing here for me. I need more information here. Tell me what you are trying to tell me here, because we have the Queen of Cups in reverse, emotional imbalance. The Four of Wands talking about stability. And the Wheel of Fortune as fates. Ah, okay, I understand. Okay, so listen, right now there is also this emotional instability because we have to build our own stability now, right? Because we know that the old thing might not work, right? So now it is about ourselves. So there is some kind of emotional instability right now because we have to define what are the four legs that creates the stability. But once we succeed to do that, then we have the real partnership, which in fact starts with being the perfect partner to ourselves, right? There is the balance of the masculine and the feminine inside of ourselves. And then we get to the Wheel of Fortune, right? Because then you truly have a real partnership. Because first of all, you are in balance with yourself, right? It first starts there. We also know that, right? That unless you are healing or you are healed or you are doing the healing work, you know, it's kind of very difficult if you are in a relationship where one is healing and the other one don't want to hear it, right? We know that. So yeah, so here what this is telling me that it is fated that it is fated that right now there is some kind of emotional instability because we need to redefine what is the foundation that we want, and it is something very individual at the end of the day. Today we have the freedom to redefine it by ourselves, and then we reach the Wheel of Fortune, right? When we do it. Time to go. Yeah, beautiful. What we need to let go, it is the judgment. What do I understand by the judgment here? It is the inherited perception of the relationship. Because in this inherited perception of the relationship, right, there is some kind of denial, emotional and even denial of the reality of life. It's also the denial of self, because we have to embrace roles, right? And then we are in this wounded warrior energy all the time, right? It is a survival energy, right? Why should we be in survival energy if we can have balance inside of ourselves, acceptance of ourselves, and then finding a partner that is also in the same respect of self and respect of the other, not embracing roles that society is imposing, but defining our own roles, right? Okay, so what we need to let go, it is all those things that are inherited that doesn't fit the individuality, in fact, right? Is there anything more here? TikTok. Let's go to TikTok. Yeah. The Ace of Wands in reverse, right? Rejecting maybe an idea. Honestly speaking here, what this talks to me is about schmexuality, right? There is here something about the schmexuality, about the roles, even at this level, at the basic level. We are with the one's energy. We are talking about the fiery element. We are talking about the root chakra. We are talking about schmexuality, right? Because as said here, the divine feminine, not the divine, the feminine is nowadays a construction of the masculine mind. Very often women are trying to become the feminine that the masculine wants, when in fact the right way to be, it is for the feminine to totally be in her feminine energy, right? But very often it's not what's happening. The feminine is adapting herself to the masculine, while in fact the masculine pleasure is kind of easy. It's the feminine pleasure that is much more complicated. So it's the masculine that needs to adapt themselves to the feminine. But we live in this idea, right, that it is kind of the opposite. When we are talking about the roles, the woman needs to be at service to the man, right? And when she refuses to be because emotionally she doesn't receive what she needs, the man doesn't understand. I had a few men telling me, I don't understand, my woman don't want to sleep with me. Okay, how are you treating her during the day? Because I see how they are treating them. They are treating them with disrespect. They think that the woman need to serve them. And then they are surprised that the woman doesn't want to sleep with them. Yes, of course. Of course. Right? So even in the schmexuality, it became something masculine, right? And the worst part, it is that when a woman embraces the masculine side of her schmexuality, as said, she is judged. But she cannot embrace the feminine of her schmexuality, because then the man needs to adapt itself. So there is here something where nobody is truly happy. Because even if the man can be happy at the end of the day being with one woman or another woman, at the end of the day it's the same. And maybe this is why also at the end of the day they are cheating. Right? Because unless you are truly investing into the discovery of the feminine that you have and allow her to be in her divine feminine, then, one whole or another whole, it's the same. If the whole is just playing the role that the masculine wants, I'm sorry, it's a little bit, but at the end of the day, this is what it is, right? Because the divine feminine, the real feminine, it's all about discovery. There is something about it's a treasure that needs to that is not just that needs to be opened with delicacy, with patience, with curiosity, with willingness, right? Yeah. Okay. Truth be told. Let's go to truth be told. Yeah, truth be told, it is that the partnership, how it was, it is not possible anymore. It is not possible anymore. We need to grieve what there was in order to be able to recreate something totally new. Because right now, what is happening, it is because we are not co-creating, because there is still this element of masculine staying in their masculine mindset heritage from the past, and the feminine also. What is happening now, it is that some people don't want to be in a relationship. They don't want to be in a relationship. They totally let go of the idea of a relationship, right? I will give you me as an example, right? So I am very, very feminine. I kind of think that you can feel it, right, with my hands and with my voice. And I am very, very feminine. But at the same time, because how I grew up and my life, I had to embrace the masculine energy inside of me. I am also a business owner, right? I am totally in charge of my life. I had no other choice but to embrace the masculine energy inside of me, right? Now, if we are getting in the old paradigm, right, I cannot be in a relationship. For me, the right partnership would embrace who I am totally, and there would be no ego, there would be no, I know it's not possible, you cannot be independent, and you cannot be this, and you cannot be that, right? If now a man only wants for me to be his support system, why should I do that? Why should I do that? Like, if it's all about you, why should I do that? I also need a man able to embrace his feminine energy, right? The same way as I embrace my masculine energy too. So, okay, yeah, grieving the truth be told, it is that today people don't even want to grieve the relationship anymore. They don't even want to be in the relationship anymore because they don't get what they need from the relationship. And those who want to be in a relationship are those who and those who will stay in the relationship are those who have boundaries, respect themselves, and will only accept a real partnership, right? That responds and respects who they are, right? Let's go to co-create. Co-create, seeing the truth, having clarity about who we are, about why we want to be in a relationship, what the wedding, the marriage means to us truly, right? Because a lot of people, as said, they want to get married for the party, for the dress, for some kind of security. For the reality is that a wedding was a contract about, it was not about love, it was about land, it was about money. This was the reality of the wedding. Today we want to get married for love and because we want to have the party. Do we need to get married for that? I don't know. I'm asking you. Yeah, we need to redefine by ourselves our choices, right? Being clear-minded about who we are and what we want. The Ace of Swords, seeing the truth, accepting the truth. Accepting the truth, it is also, we say that one of the highest form of intelligence, it is adaptation. And adaptation, it is also adapting ourselves to the world that is changing every day. We want to bring something that is coming from the past and bringing it in the world of today when the world of today has changed and evaluated, right? Yeah. Okay. So the message here is truly in the co-create. Co-create with a partner and also with ourselves. Closure, please. So interesting. The Nine of Pentacles, talking about independence, about self-care. I'm sorry, dears, about the weird cuts, but I had to interrupt the reading. But anyway, we were at the closure with the Nine of Pentacles. Respect of everybody's individuality, everybody's value, planning from a place of mental clarity. And I kind of feel here that the mental clarity is truly talking about the release of inherited ideas, right? Of what a relationship means, about what being a man means, what being a woman means, you know, all those kind of things. So let's get back on all of this. So milk and honey, the sweet life comes from embracing, in fact, our own individuality. And if we are talking about the masculine and the feminine energy, the yin and the yang, we are right now in between the two worlds where the world has evaluated, and it's time for us as individuals to evaluate. It is not about going once against the other, which is often the case right now, because now women are gaining their individuality, their independence, all those kind of things. It doesn't mean that they don't want to be in a relationship, but they don't want to be in a relationship with a man who is forcing them into some kind of role. A man that has not upgraded to the full version of themselves, right? So yes, we are in between the worlds. We can put our own colors, right? We should act from our higher self. Time to let go. Time to let go of ideas that we have inherited that are not in alignment with who we truly are, and all those kind of things, right? Is there anything else here? Yeah, the co-create, it's exactly that. I kind of feel that many people, masculines and feminines, the yin and the yang, they want to be in a relationship, but they want to be in a relationship where there is truly this co-creation. We are partners. I don't expect you to do that because you are a man, and I don't expect you to do that because you are a woman. It doesn't mean, and I kind of feel that this is also very important to say, that a woman is not a woman and a man is not a man. There are some kind of realities in the world, right? It is women that are carrying babies. This is just how it is. But at the end of the day, in the image itself of the man and the woman, there are a lot of things that are inherited and that don't align, right, with the individual itself. So I kind of feel that we need also to define ourselves, which kind of men we are, which kind of women we are, right? So let's see, is there one other card that wants to come out for the closure? Is there anything else regarding the closure here? Temperance, it's beautiful. Listen, temperance, balance, beautiful. Alchemy, balance, being patient, co-creating. Truly, this is about co-creating, right? Let's see, what number is this card? Oh yeah, a 40, right, okay. So, yeah. So listen, I will leave it here. I hope that it was interesting. I hope that it was some kind of food for the thought. It is a huge subject, right? But mainly, I kind of feel that the most important part, it is truly about being able ourselves in our individuality to embrace totally who we are. And then in the relationship, we are also doing the same thing, right? There is no perfect partnership. What there is, it is two people who are truly in a good communication, in a good exchange, and in the respect of self and the other. So I will leave it here. I hope, as said, that it was inspiring. I'll see you in the comments, and I wish you a beautiful day, afternoon, evening, whenever you are watching this. Bye.